I just figuring out some technical difficulties. I just waiting for a few more committee members to come in. Hey, Tanisha.
Hello.
Good evening, Tanisha.
Good evening. How are you, Chair? Hello, everyone. Oh, you there by yourself? We waiting for
We
people?
have a no, we have a few people. We're waiting for Carmen. She's running a bit late from work, and we should have quorum with one more person.
Okay, great.
We're gonna start like at 7:10.
We're getting something. Yeah, something's happening.
Okay, perfect. I believe we have quorum now.
Good evening, Domingo.
Hey, what's up, Hector? Hope all is well.
Likewise. Weekend.
All right, we'll start in 2 minutes to give folks time to settle in. and get to this agenda. All right, perfect. 7:10. So welcome to our May, we're almost there, to our May Youth and Education meeting. I'll start with some welcoming remarks. I want to thank, so now we have new board members that have officially started today. And we have, I want to thank all the board members that participated with us over the years. It's been great. I appreciate, we have had several board members that did not reapply, so they won't be part of our committee nor the board anymore. So I want to thank them for all the great work and just being a reliable person to count on throughout the years, as well as like moving forward our agendas and really not just solely advocating on behalf of the community, but really investing time to make sure that the voices of our community is amplified. So I want to thank everybody that participated. If anybody wants to say a few words, feel free to say them. I want to welcome the new members. And our committee is pretty simple. I believe in I'm a little bit unconventional. I truly do believe everybody has the right to put their agenda on the table and really advocate for what they're passionate about. I think it's extremely important as well to engage, meaning that you should have the ability to be able to chair a meeting, understand what it takes to facilitate a meeting. I'm gonna become a recorder on this one, Tanisha. I'm not trying to be a chair for 30 years, right? We're doing away with that. So we want people to really step up and really be able to ask questions, engage in the committee, put forth what you're passionate about, see how we could incorporate it into the agenda, and really step up into positions where who knows where you may be, who knows what skills you might acquire, but you put your best self forward and really providing the best of yourself, not only for ourselves, but for our community. Hey, Carmen. With that being said, yeah, so for the new members, those who might be interested in being part of our committee, just welcome you all, and just know that in the youth and education, you got to step up. Like, everybody has a voice. Everybody, what you're passionate about is not going to be put under the rug. You step forward and chair meetings, and really take full advantage of the opportunity that the community board presents. So welcome, and yeah. So that was about it. I don't want to get into, like we could do during committee discussion, some of the members that did leave, and what we should do to honor them at potentially the general meeting. But we'll discuss that during committee, during our committee discussion, committee business.
Can you clarify which members are no longer in our committee?
That's how our committee looks right now.
Okay. So it looks
So
like
we have
Luis isn't
Lewis, a woman named Hannah,
Hannah, okay.
and who else is not?
Well, you're doing an amazing job, though, I want you to know, this because it looks bad upon you. I'm telling you, Mr. Maria Lou before, because it's not fair, because it makes you look bad.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank
I want you to
you.
know you're doing a good job, seriously, and everyone might have dirt on them and all that stuff, because they look at our society. So it just makes everything look like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing a good job. I want you to
Thank
know
you,
this.
thank you. And so Lewis, Hannah,
I thought there was
and
somebody else, I can't recall.
I don't recall right now. Jonathan, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
I believe we lost like 2 or 3 members. I would have to go through the list, but I know that the new committee assignments will be given in June. So for new members, the orientation should be soon. I look forward to seeing you there. And with that being said, we do have quorum. The agenda today is pretty straightforward. For community connections, we have New York Presbyterian presenting on one of their is it new, Erica? Is it a new program?
No, it's not a new program. It's an existing program.
Okay, so on an existing program that looks to support youth in our community, they'll be able to elaborate a bit better on it. So we have our elected official updates followed by our community connections. That's where we'll be discussing any New York Presbyterian and any other group committee business. Today we have our childcare reso, very eloquently written by Tanisha. So Tanisha, you're gonna hold that item in the agenda down. And then we'll go into old business, new business, and any announcements. With that being said, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
motion to approve.
There a second?
Second motion.
All right, cool. So Carmen moves the motion. Who was it that seconded it?
Hector.
Hector. All right, perfect. With our elected official updates, I guess we'll start with the DA's office with Fernanda. Hey, Fernanda.
Hey, Domingo. Good evening, everybody. My name is Fernanda. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator for the Washington Heights location at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Today, I don't have any new announcements, but I do have a person that's joining me. Her name is Terry Hurd, and she's an education coordinator at the Community Partnerships Unit.
Hi, thank you so much, Fernanda. I'm using your link, so my name says Fernanda too, but I am Tayari, and I'm happy to hear, listen, and join in. I am, like she said, an education coordinator, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And what would you say? What type of education does the DA's office provide? By any chance, could we get an overview?
Yes, of course. So at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, we have our satellite offices, but at the main office where I work, we do presentations on public safety topics. We will come to schools, hospitals, senior centers, all types of college, schools, campuses. We will table, we will pass out resources, we'll do presentations. We'll also bring you all in for a court tour presentation. We present on topics like the arrest and disposition process, but also elder abuse, internet safety and cyberbullying. We cater to all different types of groups, whether that's gun violence, teen safety, domestic violence. We host those types of conversations. We'll bring in attorneys and other specialists who can address that, whether that's counselors, if there's sensitive issues that people want to talk about. We do things like that. We also do resume workshops. We have internships and a youth ambassador program. So we have all types of different ways we like to engage. And we also have Saturday Night Lights, which is free sports programming that we love to share about. Thank you.
Yes, I.
Thank you, Domingo. Do you guys offer like organize like mentoring program as well? That structure?
We don't have a formal mentoring program, but we are planning to have shadow days where monthly or every 6 weeks we'll be inviting members of the community into the office where they can hear a panel presentation on career topics and then shadow an attorney and then also see what court is like. So if you would like to get connected, we'd love to invite students or to things like that, but no mentoring programs right now.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be dope to get a list. I saw your hand, Tanisha, on some of the offerings. So like that, we could potentially share it with our community, like our school partners, and see if they'd be interested in getting any of those services. Tanisha?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say, like, how does the youth get in touch if they want to participate in any of these programs?
Yes, so we have a quick form that usually counselors, caretakers, teachers will fill out, but also youth can visit our website. But we have a document that lists out all of our services, so I will make sure you all get that. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much. You were gonna say something, Hector?
No, just thank you for willing to share it.
Noemi, you had your hand up. Did you lower it?
Yeah, sorry, mistake.
All right. All right. So thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to in the future we could coordinate something, Fernanda, where we just get a list of the resources and so we could share it out via our newsletter or I believe I'm currently in talks with the chair of the community board to see how we could develop like not just announcements, but like some sort of like a resource of the month where we have alternating resources for youth in our community. So we're not only making announcements on events, but also like recurring announcements on resources available to the community, particularly, and we could just have it revolving throughout the months. Tanisha?
No, that's my hand from the other time. Sorry.
All right, cool. Thank you so much. Now we're
Thank
moving
you.
on to our community connections. That's an item in the agenda, as we all know, where we try to engage our community, like key stakeholders within our community, to be able to share resources and opportunities in the youth and education field to try to bridge that gap and be share it out more. More communication, the better. So I know today we have representatives from New York Presbyterian, Dr. Alwyn Kohal. Let me know if I'm
You got it right, man.
okay, all right, because sometimes the accent messes it up a little bit, but he's a professor of public health and pediatrics at Columbia University, CUIMC, and he's the director of Project Stay. So today we'll be learning a bit more on Project Stay, since the Department of Health released some information regarding our youth in our community, and we got to figure out how we could improve the information shared. So
Before we move on, I'm sorry, I thought that I saw Luis raise his hand. I'm not sure if you have promoted him as a panelist.
¿tú no tienes
Oh, I'm not on the
Oh.
Zoom. I logged off.
All right. Give me one
Let's
second.
log on back. I'll log back on.
Uh,
And I'll help you. Come on.
Reading so expensive. All right, just give me 1 second. Let me get Dr. Kohal. You can take it away.
Yeah, can you allow me to share the screen?
Sure. I believe you should. If I'm not mistaken. Multiple. Okay, there it goes. Should be able to share it now.
Okay. So good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm Dr. Kohal, as was mentioned. So I run a program called Project Stay, which stands for Services to Assist Youth. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our program in a minute. But first of all, I want to talk to you about what's happening in our community with respect to HIV and STI, sexually transmitted infections. So when we're talking about sexually transmitted infections, these are terms that you may have heard of. We break them up into two basic categories: bacterial infections. We talk about chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, and a new one called mycoplasma. We'll talk about that if you want in a little bit. Viral infections you've all heard about. HIV is the big one. Herpes, HPV, human papillomavirus, is a real serious infection that can cause warts, and some kinds can cause cancer. And hepatitis, hepatitis A, B, and C. So what's the big deal about these infections? Well, with people who have uteruses, if they get an infection like chlamydia or gonorrhea, it can cause an inflammation and infection in their tubes, which can cause scarring. It can cause pregnancy in the tubes later on. For people with penises, if they get an infection like chlamydia or gonorrhea, it can go into their testicles, cause pain and swelling. For both people with uteruses and people with penises, it can lead to infertility, the inability to have kids if they want to. We're also seeing an increase in an infection called syphilis, which, if it spreads from mom to the fetus, can actually cause the fetus to not be born, or if the fetus is born, it may have severe malformations. Other infections can cause problems with the bones and joints, arthritis. Hepatitis, as you know, can cause liver disease. And the HPV virus can cause cancer, cancer of the cervix, cancer of the throat, cancer of the penis. Very serious infections. So with all these infections, they may have signs or symptoms. Sometimes they may have bumps. Sometimes people may have difficulty urinating or burning when they urinate. There may be a rash. But the most common sign of an STI is no symptoms at all. The majority of times when a person has some of these serious infections, they have no idea that they have it, which is why it's important that they come in and get checked. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about HIV. You know, HIV has been a big topic of concern for many, many years. And here in New York, we actually were doing pretty good. From 2013 to 2019, actually the number of new cases of HIV had decreased by almost a third. But then COVID hit, and that disrupted our healthcare delivery system. And in fact, new cases of HIV are on the rise, with an increase by almost 14%. So we talked a little bit about numbers. I want to talk about people. So here's a case history. This is an actual case that we've had. The case is real. The name and the face is fictional. So this is a young lady who is a senior in high school in one of our local schools, an A student, is involved in theater, wants to go to SUNY Purchase when she graduates, works 15 hours a week in the local shoe store, has only had 2 lifetime sex partners, developed a discharge from her vagina one day, went to the clinic in her school for a checkup, was found to have chlamydia, one of the infections that we talked about, but also she was HIV positive. So one of the key things that we need to think about is that when we talk about one, we got to talk about the other. HIV and sexually transmitted infections are often linked together. So this is not an isolated case. In fact, there are over 26 million new infections in America each year, costing taxpayers over $16 billion to treat these infections. And for our conversation today, what's really important is that half of these new infections are among young people between the ages of 15 to 24. So here in Washington Heights, Inwood, this is what we call a heat map. So the areas that are in the darker colors are areas with higher concentrations of infection. So we're talking, first of all, about chlamydia. The citywide rate is something called 732 per 100,000. In Washington Heights, our rate is higher than the city. And in particular, among young people, young men, it's twice as high. For young women, 5 times higher than the city average. With gonorrhea, again, Washington Heights Inwood is lights up on the heat map. Among males, 2.8 times higher. Among females, 2.3 times higher. And in syphilis, we talked about syphilis before. Not only can it cause serious infections among people, but it can also cause serious problems with newborns. For Washington Heights Inwood, males 11 times higher than the citywide average. So serious health issues in our community. So what are we doing about it? So again, our program is called Project Stay. It represents a collaboration among the New York State Department of Health, the New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, New York Presbyterian Hospital, the Melbourne School of Public Health at Columbia, and the Dalio Center for Health Justice. We have a clinic at the hospital. In fact, that's why I'm late. I just came from a clinic, and at the clinic, we provide STI and HIV screening and treatment services. We try to prevent HIV by getting people on PEP and PrEP if they have a need. We provide contraception for folks who are interested in gender affirming care. We provide hormonal therapy and counseling, immunizations, and mental health services. So the clinic is operational Monday through Friday, and Monday nights we're open late till 7:30. So young people bring their friends to get checked out. They bring their partners, and we do really important work in the clinic. But what's also really important is to go out into the community because, as I said, many infections have no signs, have no symptoms. So we partner with local CBOs where young people are already getting services, and we try to work with these organizations and with young people who are getting other services at those sites. So this particular aspect of the program is called the Youth Access Program, where we focus on early detection of HIV and getting people into care quickly. We want to get them prevented from getting HIV if at all possible. And we want to get them information about sexual health education. And we also want to do screening in community settings and then link them to our clinic if they need more care. So we have a full-time staff of professionals, physicians, social workers, health educators. We also have students from the various Columbia schools, the School of Social Work, School of Nursing, the medical school, pre-med students, the MPH program. These students are learning how to talk with patients, how to take the lessons that they've learned in the classroom and apply them to real-world settings. And we hopefully, once they graduate, they can do a better job of taking care of our community residents. So when we do workshops in different sites, we'll spend 30 to 45 minutes really trying to give young people the real information about these kinds of infections, make it a normal part of their routine to come in and get checked out. And one of the things that we hear is a lot of misinformation. One of the things that we hear a lot is, guys will ask us, does the earwax test really work? So if you're not familiar with the earwax test, in 2024, the litmus test for if someone has an STI is when a young man will take a dollop of earwax and put it in his partner's vagina. And if she has a reaction, if she experiences pain, then that's something that he needs to stay away from. So clearly that's a myth, but people embrace that, they believe that, and they're doing it. Other questions, what is that thing a man has when he can't pee because it burns? I thought you only get warts if you kissed a frog. Can you get HIV if you have sex in a pool? I only have sex with people who have negative HIV results. Do I still need to use protection? I heard Magic Johnson bought his way out of AIDS. So after the workshop, we'll talk with young people one-on-one. We'll get them tested if they're interested for STIs and HIV, and then we'll bring them back to our clinic if they want more services. So even though we are based here in Northern Manhattan, this is really a citywide program. We go all over New York City. We'll go to schools. We'll go to programs serving formerly incarcerated. We'll go to community-based organizations serving LGBTQ+ individuals. We're at nightclubs. We go to churches. Here in Washington Heights, we have a collaboration with DWDC, and we do a lot of work with them. Recently, with support from the Dalio Center for Health Justice, we were able to get a mobile medical unit. So this is a health clinic on wheels. Let me go back, sorry. But this is what the clinic looks like inside. There's an exam room, there's a waiting room, there's a bathroom. So a lot of the things that I can do in the clinic, I can do on this mobile medical unit. So STI, HIV, Hep C testing, treatment of STIs and so on, getting folks on PEP and PrEP, giving them vaccinations, referring them to our clinics for additional services. So we bring the healthcare out into the community for populations who may be in need, who may be afraid of coming to the hospital. They may not know where to go. They may be embarrassed, whatever it is. They may not have thought about it. We bring it out to them. So June is Pride Month, as you all know. There's a lot of events happening throughout the city. So historically, we've been at Harlem Pride. We go to the Brooklyn Pride. We go to New York City Pride. So this year, we'll be doing that along with the mobile medical unit. And we'll be able to do a lot more in the way of providing health information, as well as screening for STIs and HIV. And every year, we identify folks who need services and hadn't really thought about it before they pass by our tent, and this year our van. So, intervention and treatment is important, but we also want to talk about prevention, keeping young people busy. So I'm really glad that colleagues from Danny are on the call, because several years ago, with support from the district attorney's office, I wrote a grant to create something called the Uptown Hub, which is a program on 168th Street in the old Department of Health building, where young people can come and hang out with other young people, learn how to do their resumes, get support with finding jobs. There's a lot of creative arts going on there. And if they need mental health services, that support is available to them as well. So I wanted to stop by just saying, hey, we're doing a lot, but more needs to be done. So 2 questions for the group is, how do we increase screening in Washington Heights, Inwood? How can we reverse some of the numbers that I shared earlier? And what kind of community partners, community agencies, events should we be working with over the next several months, over the next year or so? So let me stop here and, open it up for questions, comments. And here's my contact information if anybody needs to get in touch after this presentation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kohal. A lot of information. Julio? How's it going, Julio?
Thank you, Domingo. I just wanted to, say on behalf of New York Presbyterian Hospital, to thank Dr. Kohal for appearing in really short notice and coming before the committee, but also to let the committee know that, the genesis of this discussion really started from the Health and Environment Committee, where the Department of Health reported that, the increase of STDs among young people, and also, the not knowing where they can go for support and services. So I just want to thank you, Domingo, again, and the committee for allowing us to come before the committee and present.
All right, thank you so much. So we have a few questions, but the beauty of it is that we actually have a high school student among us as well. And I feel like a lot of the age groups, let me see, Jandiel, you there?
Yes.
What do you like? He presented some questions there that I think is real viable, right? Because we could get so caught up at our age and assume that we understand what y'all want. You know what I'm saying? That we understand how to provide the information for y'all. In your ecosystem, right? What would you say is a good way of being able to implement getting tested regularly into and amongst other resources? Like, you have access right now to the resources, what would you do?
I genuinely feel like it's more so a matter of just letting like kids know that this is an option that they have, because I'm sitting here and like I'm taking all these notes. It's like, oh wow, I didn't even have no idea that all of this exists, that there's all of these resources. So I'm pretty sure that there's people like within my friend groups, within my school community, that they don't know either. And then yeah, like we have a clinic in our school, and like when you pass by, like yeah, they have all these posters, but it's not more so like, okay, yeah, the posters are there, but when we're being bum rushed to class, who has time to like look at posters? Is more so like vocalizing this information and putting it out there and having it in front of these students.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's all about having options. And one of the great things about Washington Heights Inwood is that for the high schools that are here, there are excellent clinics there. But again, we want to give kids options. If they want to go to a clinic in their school, terrific. But if they feel more comfortable going to a clinic in the hospital, that's available to them also, particularly during the summer months when, school may not be in session and so on. Or when you graduate. So, you can start going to clinic in your school, and then once you graduate, come see us at the hospital clinic. And I agree, word of mouth is terrific. So you take this information that, you heard today and tell your friends. One of the things that way how a lot of people find out about us is that they Google us. They say, if you Google find an STD clinic in 10032, Project Stay will be up at the top of the list. So what's nice about what we do is when you get in touch with us, you're not going to get an appointment for a month or 3 months or whatever. We want to try to get you in that same week, okay? Because we know how important your time is, how worried you must be. So we want to try to get you in as quickly as possible.
Thank you so much, Mr. Coho. So I have up next Carmen. One thing we will do, Jandiel, is we'll talk offline and we see how we could get the bus and make some noise at George Washington. And I feel like that's something that we could work together with you. And I know Noemi's here, who also does a lot of work in George Washington, and we could potentially do something. Erica, I know you have your hand up. So right now I have Carmen. She's going to ask her question, and then I'll get to you, Erica. All right. Thank you so much.
Dr. Kohlhoff, thank you so much. This presentation was very informative and surprising to me, actually. But I did have a couple of follow-up questions. I saw that you listed some high schools that you have partnered with or done presentations. Is there a reason maybe, or is there anything preventing Project Stay to do presentations at all high schools in Washington Heights? I ask this because I'm thinking about your question at the beginning, that what may be the reason why a lot of students aren't informed. Jandia just mentioned that they pass by the posters, they just kind of, they're rushing to class, not really looking at it. So I'm curious to see if more of that education or more presentations at the high schools to inform the students that these clinics do exist may possibly be helpful. So just wondering what that process is for you to present in some high schools, and then I'll ask my other question.
Yeah, that's a great thought. What we want to try to do is really cover as many gaps as possible. It's terrific that Washington Heights has school-based clinics. A lot of schools in Manhattan do not. And what we do know is that the schools in Washington Heights Inwood that do have school clinics, they have fabulous peer educators, young people that they have trained to get this information out to their fellow students. And what these peer educators do is they go into the classrooms and they'll tell students about, vaccinations or STI screening or, whatever it is that is an important health topic for the students in that building. So yeah, I mean, we're happy to do presentations and collaborate with the staff in the schools. We don't want to be redundant, but whatever we can do to be helpful, we certainly want to do. And as I said, it's actually really, because we're all NYP, as I mentioned with that earlier case, was identified in the school clinic and was sent to my clinic for further for further services. So we had that kind of relationship with, not only George Washington, but Kennedy and, some of the other schools in the neighborhood.
Oh, no, but there's an echo. Sorry, I had a. Hi, no.
Hello.
Can you all hear me? Wonderful, thank you. Thank you for answering that. I did have a follow-up question. My question was, are these services for the clinic, are they free or of low cost? So what about students that don't have health insurance or students that may be under their parents' health insurance that may be worried? I'm not sure if that's an actual thing. I feel like maybe some students are like, I don't want to go to the clinic, I'm under my parents' insurance. What if they get to see it? So
Yeah, that's a great question. And, fortunately, we live in New York, and our political leaders in New York have really made it clear that young people are a priority and the health of young people are a priority. So in New York State, in New York City, a young person can get sexual health services, including testing for STIs and HIV, pregnancy, et cetera, without parental consent or notification. So we encourage them to talk with parents, but we know that sometimes that might be difficult. And we know that sometimes young people may be so embarrassed that they may not, come in and get services, which may be a problem later on. So if they have Medicaid, that's fine. If they don't have Medicaid, they will still be seen. They won't get any bills sent home. If they have private insurance, that's great also. We have a private practice where we can see young people. And, we talked about doing education for young people. We really want to do education for parents as well, because a lot of times parents did not get this information when they were in school. And we want parents to obviously be the primary person communicating with their sons and daughters. But if they're not well informed, they're not going to be able to provide the information that these young people need. So I think educating young people is important. Educating our political leaders and community-based organizations are important. Educating parents are important as well.
And my last follow-up question was regarding the mobile medical unit. Is that stationed on certain days? Where is it normally located? Is this program ongoing throughout the year, or is it in certain seasons?
Yeah, it's fresh out the box. We just got delivery, a couple months ago. We have a full-time nurse practitioner who was just hired, and she's going to be starting in a couple of weeks. So a lot of the staff, a lot of the doctors at the hospital have been kind of pinch hitting until she's fully oriented. But yeah, I mean, the priority is providing sexual health services to the people of the community. So, if there are events, if there's organizations, if there are fairs that, you think would be important for the van to show up at, get in touch with us and we will see what we can do. Again, this is a very important priority of Andy Nieto at New York Presbyterian Hospital, who's been an advocate of us getting this. This is something that we've been trying to get for over 10 years. So we are hopeful that it'll help to kind of turn the tide with respect to STIs and HIV in our community. I really want to come back in a few years and say, hey, we're not leading the pack anymore. We are, one of the safest and healthiest communities in New York, because our young people have so much promise and so much potential, and we want to make sure that they, can realize that promise and potential.
Yeah,
So the van is not currently stationed somewhere as you guys are.
It's mobile, so it goes from place to place. So, for example, I'm going to be on it on Thursday. We're going to be in Brooklyn on Thursday.
Got it. Okay.
Once we get this full-time, nurse practitioner, we'll have a regular schedule. So we can say, hey, the first Monday of every month, we're going to be, on 181st Street. The second, Thursday of every month, we're going to be someplace else. So yeah, it's is the schedule coming up, particularly with the summer coming up now, is going to be open. So we would love to get community input on not only where we should go, but how do you get, people to us once we're there? I mean, we can do the health services, but we need to bring the people to us. So it's going to be about communication and collaboration. And that's why we're so glad that you invited us to talk with you all today.
Yeah, Erica, and one thing I do promise you, Dr. Kohal, is we're pushing for June. We're gonna work with Jandiel, and do something in George Washington High School next month. So before the summer's out, we could potentially do something there. Noemi's there as well, who works works a lot with the first floor and other floors in the building. So we're gonna make sure that we team up and do a community board led by Jandiel in that school, so we could put the van, put the van.
Right. And what's nice about the van is, again, it's mobile, so we can go to Fort Tryon Park, we can go to we can go wherever. You tell us where you think.
We'll have that van in George Washington High School next month. So next up, Erica, I know you had a few things to say.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to add, and I know I didn't formally introduce myself earlier, but hi everyone, my name is Erica Torres. I am the Community Affairs Manager here at New York Presbyterian, supporting the entire Northern Manhattan region. I work alongside Julio, and Dr. Kohal is part of our lovely Division of Community and Population Health division. So, just like Carmen was saying, speaking about access, and Jandiel talking about how he walks through the halls, it's our duty to take back these comments and strategize on how we need to get this information out and make it accessible. The information is there, right? But we need to talk about access. It's a constant conversation amongst ourselves, amongst external stakeholders. So Dr. Kohal also mentioned about peer educators, and I would like to mention how we also have a community center for health navigation, where there are peer navigators available and to speak to the youth on these topics. So if that's something of interest, that's something that maybe we can coordinate. Carmen, to your question also, and Dr. Hall did mention that the mobile medical unit is mobile, but right now it is currently stationed at Brooklyn and Queens most often, because the hospital has identified that Brooklyn and Queens currently are a little bit more of a priority in regards to this work, but we would definitely prioritize any requests from Northern Manhattan because we're the most seasoned campus. And also I want to say and mention that, when Domingo invited us to present, we want to continue to present on multiple youth programs, right? So Dr. Kohal mentioned the Uptown Hub, and that's actually one of the programs that wanted to present today, but they weren't able to. And we would love to join you in the June meeting, or there's just multiple information out there, and you can let us know what are the best venues to speak to this. We will make ourselves available. We have the staff, and I just want to point out that Julio, myself, and Dr. Kohal are a point of contacts, and we really want to educate the community at large because this is meaningful work,
Yeah, I mean, we are, really fortunate that we have some really seasoned, experienced people at New York Presbyterian Hospital that are really committed to trying to enhance the health and well-being of people in the community. So in addition to the Uptown Hub, we have a unique program called the Young Men's Clinic, which is one of the only programs in the country that provides primary care services to young men of color. The family planning program is probably one of the busiest family planning programs in the city. We have additional programs that, one of the clinics that I just started, which I'm coming from now, is a clinic that takes care of the formerly incarcerated. So people coming home from jail and prison, need a place where they can get comprehensive medical and mental health services. So that program just started in February, and that's another of the programs that I run. So we'd be happy to come back at another time and talk to you about that issue as well.
Yeah, thank you. We have Tanisha. Miss Tanisha.
Hello, thank you so much for your service and your presentation. So yes, besides being in a community board member, I'm an organizer in the community. So we have block parties during the summer, and we would love for you to come to our block party. It's going to be on August 3rd. I will email you, Dr. Cohen. I have a lot of young people in my area. I live closer to the 50s. I live closer to the beginning of Washington Heights.
Okay.
And we don't get a lot of services in this area. So even though we're like close to the hospital, a lot of things don't come around here. So I would love to talk to you offline about coming to our block party. I think that would be a great way. And, you know, I would just tell people go over there
Yeah.
because that's what I do. Right? We have to have the people in the
And they'll
community
listen too, I'm sure.
Right. And Domingo, yes. And Naomi, we go over there. It's good.
Tanisha, so the hospital doesn't go to the southern part of Washington Heights? Is that what you said?
Anyway, and now you made me forget my question, Domingo. It was important.
Sorry.
I forgot. I'll come back to it. But thank you so much for the work that you do, because yeah, like why we don't even my problem is even the people that's in the community, that's organized in the community, don't be knowing about these services. So I really appreciate you coming to the community board, and I'm sure I'll have a few referrals for you. Thank you.
We have community connection. Go ahead, my brother. What you have to say?
Yeah, how you doing, Doctor? My name is Ronnie Desso. I'm an artist. I'm very actually disturbed by what I'm hearing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not, born from Washington Heights, but I've lived most of my life in this neighborhood. It has nothing to really do. This is a nationwide issue. My point is that we have I feel like government forms for city council, and they're not requiring you to have a gender. So first of all, this whole thing cannot come together unless we establish you have to have a gender. And there is not, like my ex-girlfriend, I'm bisexual, but my ex-girlfriend was a transgender woman. I decided to do this after my son was born. I was living a heterosexual life, and I chose to do this through God, but my son was never in the path of HIV. And I do know it, and I'm very highly educated. But my whole thing is that this is not accurate, because as men, we need to understand that heterosexual men do not contract HIV. So you're saying that your partners are HIV negative, or only your partners, are they women? Because heterosexual men do not contract HIV. This is making me very upset, because as a bisexual man, I want to make sure that I protect my heterosexual men. And it is bothering me, because there are a lot of looming around. And Magic, what happened? Magic, I'm 36 years old. I was born in 1987, but there was no mystery or this idea of a scandal that Magic cheated. His wife knew that he was bisexual. Okay. And I used to do bodyguard and security work, and I know Magic's son, and they've been referring to Magic's son on TV, his own father and his mother, as him being gay. You cannot be gay, sir. You need to understand this. You're either if you're outside of heterosexuality, which is the norm, but you would be homosexual or bisexual, sir. And these both involve gay sex. So this needs to be identified, that what are transgender people, sir? Because you can contract HIV from transgender people. You said that there was a girl that only had 2 partners, but guess what? I'm not going to say anything about Beyonce or any of this stuff, because nobody wants to step forward that are part of this. I will, because I know that, hey, being bisexual man, you have responsibility as a man to then honor that if you're going to engage with women, that you know that they know that you're a bisexual man. Because ultimately, bisexual men, even though I'm educated and I'm negative, that they can spread HIV. And that ultimately our country is not holding a requirement or a standard to protect our future heterosexual people. Because ultimately there's no priority to say that anything, but everyone has to be around gay sex. You don't have to have gay sex, sir. You have to have sex, sir.
Yeah.
So in this regard,
Thank you so much.
but my whole question is, how are we going to go about this if you have Leah Thomas above the women? And my ex-girlfriend's ID said, well, she's a transgender woman, that's not a woman. So why is our system not covering down on protecting our women, but ultimately respecting that there's going to be heterosexual men forever in America? So how can we do this, and knowing that there is a LGTB community, but that's not anything more than an organization, sir. That's not the United States government. So how can we, instead of saying NYC Pride and all these things, how can you protect your heterosexual New Yorkers? They want to be able to know that they're not going to hurt the women, because that girl that had 2 partners that you said, well, she didn't know that one of her partners was not a heterosexual man. So that can then give you HIV, like you said. So I need the men to know. The men don't want to hurt the women. But we need to have accurate language, sir. It's not lost in this. I'm very passionate about this. It's going to make me upset. I want to make sure that my son knows that he will protect. If he is a man that has gay sex in life, he's not going to have children. I will make sure, but ultimately, that he will protect the fact that he will be a man of his word. And the contraceptive doesn't start with a condom. It starts with your mouth and being a man of your word. But ultimately saying, hey, all my partners are negative, well, you weren't being heterosexual then, were you? Well, I'm not saying you, but it's saying that, you see how it gets lost? But you said all my partners are negative. Well, listen though, but if you're heterosexual male, you're not gonna get HIV, but if you're a heterosexual female, hey, you're the partners that are
All right.
penetrating you like this girl.
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate
Hey,
you.
but that's where nobody comes in.
Yeah.
though,
Thank you.
Because that's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Tanisha.
I remember my question. I was gonna say that it would be great if our housing and human services also got this presentation. So I don't know if we can reach out to them, but I think that this fits with our human services and housing committee as well, because you know, the youth and human services. So yeah. That's what I was gonna say, Chair. I remember.
I'm sorry, Tanisha, what were you saying? Cause
Can you just repeat
yeah,
it?
can you
one more
I'm
time?
sorry.
You just said that you wanted
Yeah,
Dr. Coho.
it would be great if this presentation could be for the housing and human services committee too, because I feel like this is a human service, and I'm just suggesting that you guys also make a presentation for them.
Yeah, Erica said they'll bring them back. Thank you. All right, so we gotta wrap it up because I believe we have another presentation, right, Tanisha? So are there any final words, Dr. Kohal? Any final questions before we move on to the next community connection? All right, Dr. Kohal, you could, any final words?
No, thank you so much for your time, and yeah, please reach out to Erica and Julio, and we'll try to be as helpful as we can.
Yeah, Erica?
No, it's so nice, and I can't wait for next month's present. You guys meet next month, right?
Correct.
Your last meeting?
The first Monday before we go, so in June, we go on break for the summer. It's been a very
Well deserved, everyone. You guys do a great job.
Yeah,
Sorry, I just wanted to confirm that one of you, since we're gonna try to see what we can do at George Washington
Yeah,
in the near future, will one of you be online? I know I see Julio usually on the health and environment, but would one of you be at our next meeting?
yeah, they're ready, it's already done.
Okay.
Julio, any last words?
Yeah, no, thank you. Again, I apologize for being off camera. I'm actually at an event with Mark Levine, but yeah, I think that out of this meeting, I think we sort of also got the idea that other committees will be interested in learning about this. And also, I think Dr. Kohal also mentioned something around, support for incarcerated, and something that we could go back to the public safety as well to discuss. So so we have a lot to follow up, and we'll do that.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll stay in communication. And then as far as next month, we'll continue the dialogue as far as how we could work alongside some youth at George Washington to put together an event for before summer break. With Jandia, you want any closing words for them, or are you good?
Chair Lewis has a question.
Who?
Lewis, he's on the call.
Lewis is right here. He said
No.
He wrote it.
Lewis in the chat has a question. I think in the
I think it's one of my colleagues that is named
oh
We
yeah.
need it.
Somebody named Louis Cruz it's for the doctor.
I think she needs to rename herself. But
all right. Where's the question?
she does has a question. She do have a question.
Can you please unmute yourself and ask the question? Is she a panelist?
She won't be able to because she's an attendee.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll promote her.
Yeah.
All right. And who is it, Lewis? There's like 3 different Lewises here.
Oh God, I think it's Monica Harris.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Am I heard?
Yes.
Thank you so much. This was very informative, and for the individual that spoke about his orientation and raised his valid points, I appreciate your vulnerability and that you were able to raise your voice in this space. My question is for the doctor. As a community person, I am the FEC's family advocate, but I'm also a mother, a grandmother, a daughter. And one of the questions that came up for me is that how do we begin to educate youth earlier on, maybe before they begin to make choices to become active, about body autonomy, about self-love and self-care. While this medical information is pertinent, is relevant, is informative, and helps people make informed decisions and choices about their health path in terms of medical attention and need, I think there are steps before that that are very important. And I just want to know from your lens, how do you see that happening?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. And there are multiple steps. It's not like you have this conversation once and it's a wrap. No, you got to be talking about this, very early on. It's got to be the pediatricians talking about it when the young people are 7, 8, 9. It's got to be talking with the parents that, hey, there's a vaccine that could prevent certain kinds of cancer. We want to start this before your son or daughter becomes sexually active. We got to talk about it in the schools. We got to give young people choices and options. We got to do something called social capital, which means keeping young people busy in productive activities, whether it's sports, whether it's dance, whether it's music, whether it's after school activities. We need more of that. The Uptown Hub is one example, but we need more resources. We need resources for parents who are getting so stressed out that, sometimes they don't have time or effort to talk with their kids because they're worrying about putting food on the table. So there's so many different things that need to be done to reinforce what we can do to support young people. I absolutely agree with you. Information and health services are one or two pieces of the puzzle, but the entire puzzle means having everybody involved to help support young people and get them through their teenage years so they can become, healthy and productive citizens.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Kohal, for participating today. We look forward to future collaborations, and I think Jandiel said a very important word, being consistent in what we do. So I look forward to it. Erica, we'll stay in contact so that we could figure this out and put this together. With that being said, where's Tanisha?
Have a good night, everybody. Look forward to working with you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
If you want to present the next group.
Oh, yes. So coming to the stage, we have the great Louis Cruz, who is the CEC 6 president, and he will be presenting on a family enrichment center. Not Louis Cruz. I'm sorry, Louis. Louis, not Louis Cruz, another Louis. They will be presenting on the Family Enrichment Center here in Inwood and Washington Heights. Are y'all here? And no, Naomi too, right? Okay.
I'm not the president of the
I'm
I don't think it's the
Louis.
I think this is
but
My
the name of
bad.
the program.
from the Family Enrichment Center. My name is Luis Cruz. I'm the community liaison for the Family Enrichment Center, and here with me is our director, Nina Aristi, and our family advocate, Monica Harris. And we're here to introduce ourselves to the community, so people know where we at and when, and like when will we opening our center. Now I would like to pass the mic to our director, Nina Aristi.
Thank you so much, Louis. It's always a pleasure. You guys got to hear a little bit of Monica, who is our family advocate. I'm going to share my screen very briefly so we can run through our presentation. It's going to be very brief, and we're also going to be able to show you all a little bit of what our site might potentially look like as well. So welcome to our Family Enrichment Center. We're just going to hit on three things. We're going to talk a bit about what is an FEC, what are we about? Then we're going to talk about our backbone agency, which is the agency that received the RFP, but really the Family Enrichment Center is a life of its own. It really is a space for community members by community members, but we'll talk a little bit more into detail about it later. And then where we currently are, as Lewis said, we are still in the early stages of getting this Family Enrichment Center up and running, but we want to show you all where we are going to be, why the voices of our community are so very much needed in this space. And hopefully, if you are interested in joining our efforts, or if you can share it to your networks, that would definitely be incredibly supportive. So what is an FEC? So the FEC model is a result of 18 months of research, development, and input from community providers and other community stakeholders. It is shaped by the Strengthen Families, which is Family Protective Factors approach, created by the Center for the Study of Social Policy. Essentially, what an FEC is a second home for community members. It's a space not only where they can call their own, and they're an integral part of the entirety of the process, down to hiring our staff. I know for myself, for Lewis, for Monica, we had community members that were involved not only in formulating the description of the jobs, but were even individuals that were part of the interview process. So it is very much grassroots at its core. It started off very relatively early. It started around, I think, 2017 when the first RFPs came around, and there were only 3, which was in Hunts Point, Longwood, East New York, and Highbridge. Right now in Manhattan, there are 3 FECs, which is the Inwood Washington Heights, which is one of the youngest ones in Manhattan, Central Harlem, and East Harlem. So again, the space is supposed to be, it is funded through ACS, but it's supposed to be a space where you're utilizing community knowledge, community expertise, and community strengths in order to enforce and be preemptive in supporting family members and creating a community of support. So each of our offerings that we will have and that we have had are tied to different protective factors. So parent resilience, social connections, knowledge of parenting and child development, concrete support in times of need, social and emotional competence of children, economic mobility, and community. These are all factors that we feel and that is found through ACS and Be Strong Families are necessary for individuals to feel like they are strong and supportive parents. So during each of our offerings, for example, we have parent cafes, which is essentially literally what it sounds, a cafe where folks come in, they have food, they sit down, we have discussions that center around different topics, but are bound to one of these protective factors, 1 or 2 of these protective factors. So for example, if we had a parent cafe that was about internet safety for children, that could be something that's close to parent resilience and maybe even concrete support in times of needs. Because especially we know sometimes young youth go to the internet when they need to find a safe space. So how can they find also concrete spaces where they can get that initial support as well? So we plan to have different events that center around these protective factors, but these events, programmings, and offerings would all be based off of community voice. So whatever the community feels is necessary for the space, what they feel is needed in the community is what we're going to base our programming and our offerings on. So a little bit of our backbone agency. Our backbone agency is Children's Arts and Science Workshops. We have been in the Washington Heights area since 1968, and like an FEC, it's grounded very grassroots. It started off during the teacher strike, and parents came together wanting to find some sort of academic and cultural enrichment workshops So then their students and their children would have something to do during the strike. So we went for the RFP, and thankfully ACS did provide us with this opportunity to expand our offerings within the agency. But again, the FEC, the Family Enrichment Center, is going to have its own name. And this will a little bit about where we are. We've already hired a lot of the team. We have started doing early community engagement. So we've been in a few tabling events. We were in the Earth Day event, giving out plants to folks as well as information. We also have done for Dominican Independence Day, we had an event with CUNY's Dominican Studies Institute. And we're planning on doing some community events, which towards the end, I will let Louis speak a little bit about them, as well as I'll provide a link to our most upcoming event that is coming up on the 29th, which is our Mother's Day event. And we also have already our site selection. So our site is going to be in the George Washington Port Authority, right next to the Fine Fair and across from the barbershop. So although it's currently under construction, we are going to be showing you all a bit of our rendering, so you have an idea of what that space is going to look like. The space is supposed to be welcoming, homey. It's supposed to be a space that feels, again, like a home away from home. Some of the next things that we're going to be doing is site naming and early offerings and grand opening. So for our site naming, it's essentially going to be community members who get to name the location. So community members will be able to submit to one of our campaigns and have a chance to win upwards of $1,000 for if their name gets chosen. And then, of course, we have some early offerings, like I said, that we can discuss towards the end. And then I'm going to quickly just show you all some of our renderings of some of the locations, so then you guys have a bit of a feel of how this space is going to look like. Let me see if this will allow me to stop share and then share screen. Okay, can you guys see what I see? I hope so. So this is a little bit about how the community space is going to look. We're going to have a communal area where folks are going to be able to sit down, watch TV. There's going to be spaces where we're hopefully looking for some local artists to do a mural. So if folks have any connections to some artists, please send our way. We want to keep it local because, again, this space is for the community by the community. We will also have a communal area where folks will be able to eat. We'll have a kitchen where folks will be able to cook. And again, this space, you can walk in and simply utilize it just to drink coffee if that's what you need the space for. The space will be ultimately up for the community to utilize and to frame based off its needs. We will also have an area for children. So if we do have offerings or programming events, children will have a space for themselves as well. So it's going to look a little bit like this. Also, some things that are not shown, we have some private offices that are going to be in this area as well, which community members will be able to utilize to their leisure. So if they need a space where they just need to unwind, that's not at home, and they just need to be somewhere safe, this is definitely it. We'll also have a divider here. So then if folks want to utilize both spaces, they're able to. So I'm going to pass it to Louis so then he can talk a bit of some of our offerings that we will be having. So then you guys can, get information and hopefully join us in getting to know more about the space and how you can be a part of it.
Sure. So we partnered with the Y, and we are one of the sponsors for a Sons of Solidarity event. It's a concert that they will be hosting this Sunday, May 19, from 2:30 to 4 p.m. I will be sharing all these flyers with the committee so you can spread out the word. Then we have a day for our community moms. That will be on Wednesday, May 19, from 3 to 6 p.m. So we hope to see all our community mothers there. to celebrate Mother's Day, and we're planning a Yankee game trip on June 21, the 21st, for to celebrate Father's Day. That's
So
all.
again, thank you so much, Louis. We are again open to having folks join in, so then their voices can be heard. They could be part of this process and planning out of how the space is going to look like. But additionally, if folks just want to get to know a bit about us and maybe even do a pop-up parent cafe at one of their locations, please let us know. We plan to have our grand opening in fall of this year, so we're hoping to have everything up and running by September. And that
Louis,
is-
can you repeat the date for the Mother's Day event?
Yes, Mother's Day event will be on, I'm sorry for the background noise. That's actually the Dykeman Running Club.
We don't hear it. We don't hear it.
Oh, never mind. So so we have our Mother's Day event on Wednesday, May the 29th from 3 to 6 p.m. That will be Bloom Cafe. It's located at 187th Street and Broadway. But we will share the flyer. I will email the flyer so you can spread out the word as well.
I also added the registration link for our Eventbrite on the chat if folks are interested to sign up there as well.
And Erica, thank you. You said you would probably open up in the fall. Is that the office space that's gonna open up in the fall? Because I know you guys are doing programming now, or the official launch, and when in the fall?
Oh, yes. So we're planning to have just the community space be open starting in the fall. We're doing
Got it.
community events, but we're using essentially community spaces or renting out spaces for the time being, since we wanted to have early engagement with the community members.
And do you have any idea about hours? Like, when would this space be available? Is it 7 days a week? Is it just Monday through Friday?
That's a really great question. So I'll tell you a little bit about where things are now. Right now, it's Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But again, the reason why we're asking for community voice is because we also literally down to when our operating hours are going to be are based off of what the community feels is right for them. So I know we will have we could also do like a mixed schedule. Some FECs differ, but I know initially we'll start off with Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And once we get more community voice in terms of maybe it's better we're opening on Saturdays or we open later on in the day, then those are subject to change. But for right now, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5.
Right.
And one last question. Where can I find more information? You had mentioned earlier at the very beginning of your presentation about the model of being done by the Center for Social Policy. Is that right? I don't remember the exact name. Is that an entity, or where can I find more information about that?
Certainly. You can actually find more information through the ACS Family Engagement Center website, where they have more information in terms of how that sort of started coming along and why they decided to implement it here in New York City.
Got it. Thank you so much, Nina. I really appreciate it.
Tanisha, you got your hand up? You're
Tanisha,
muted.
You're
You're
muted.
muted.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know I was muted. Thank you so much for the presentation. I am very, very familiar with family enrichment centers. I want to be totally transparent and let you know that I am a person that was affected by the system at birth. So to answer Carmen's question, it is because people like me are doing a lot of advocacy against ACS. So ACS is trying to fund new things to change the way that they do things. But so I have a couple of questions about the Family Enrichment Center. Do you have to have a case to go into the Family Enrichment Center? No.
You don't
Um,
even have to give us your name, information, address to go into the space.
Okay, great. So that's the question I had because I know the problem that I have is family enrichment centers tend to be in low income communities. We don't have them in Midtown. We don't have them, in the rich part of Queens. So the well off part of Queens. So I just know that I'm going to be very interested in this space since it's coming into our neighborhood, and we'll be very. We want you to stay in communication with us, so we can attend these events and stuff like that because that's a world that I advocate for. I'm a parent advocate, so we want to make sure that the space is holistically serving our community because, the problem we have with the family enrichment centers is that it's funded by ACS. And that puts a lot of parents and children off. So even though it sounds really good, Nina and Lewis, I'm just telling you from someone who's been affected. I'm 48 years old now, and they still affect my life every day. That I hope that this family enrichment center will be what it's supposed to be. Thank you.
Yeah. And I do want to say something in terms of that, Tanisha. I know Hunts Point has done really well with engaging their community members because they've wanted to, a lot of community members there also had that same sort of trauma with ACS. And they've been advocating to sit down with ACS to discuss that trauma. And again, this is what we're here for. We're here to be a space for the community. And that even means tackling those hard questions and those hard experiences, because that's 100% true.
We would love to partner with you, Nina, when it comes to that conversation with ACS. It could be between the community board and the FEC, just trying to deal with combat the trauma created by it. Because I know historically ACS has dropped the ball a lot, and it's because historically the people that they serve are people that are disenfranchised, people of color, so they could get away with a lot as well. So just look forward to collaborating. The space is open. We're willing to work and really keep pushing it forward. As far as collaborations, we're always open to collaborations. How's your connections with the local school district? I know your executive director, she's cool people. We had her in PS 132 back in the days. And I'm just interested in learning what connections has because I know you're in multiple schools in the children's CASW is in multiple schools in the district. So I'm assuming that's going to be the pipeline for the parents as well, right?
Yeah, we're going to be doing some early engagement with those individuals. And we want to get involved with the PTA. So if any folks, again, open to have this conversation, this is not something that I'm going to dictate, Lewis is going to dictate, or Monica, or anyone in our team. This space is for what folks feel is necessary.
Yeah, Lewis has my number. We could figure something out. But like Tanisha said, we're not compromising when it comes to ACS using FEC to rebrand itself and all of a sudden make it seem like they are dealing with the issues that our communities are advocating for. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to be very clear on that, and we look forward to creating an everlasting partnership.
I'd like to say something, if I may, when you're done.
Yeah.
Is that Monica? Monica, if you don't mind, for the remaining of the meeting, can you just rename yourself, please?
Yes, because it's for the record as well, because we have to.
You know, right here. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to do that. Lewis did that.
On the top, if you're using a computer,
yes.
If you just hover over your screen, it should be on the top right, if I'm not mistaken. No.
On the top right, you are correct, Carmen.
I found it.
Oh, I could rename it. What's your name, Monica?
She found it.
I found it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Welcome.
Lewis, my time in your name has ended. Thank
There
you.
goes Monica Harris.
Thank
Yes, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I just wanted to just take a moment, and I took a deep breath listening to you, Tanisha. I want to apologize for whatever harm was caused you, your family, those that love you, not because I've ever worked with ACS, not because I work for them, not because I participated, but because you are worthy of better than that. And we all are. And anytime I'm out in community, you are not the first person that has raised this issue and spoken these words. But I think part of creating a new, brave, safe space is acknowledging what you're saying, and also acknowledging that hopefully with the intention of the new blood, for lack of a better expression, meaning the people that are not necessarily working for ACS, like Louis, Nina, or myself, but more in community advocacy, that this is an opportunity to create a different pathway, right? We can't always go back and undo what is done, but we definitely have an opportunity, as you've raised your voice, to acknowledge it, to know and name that it is true, and to name that our intention is to build a different type of space for support, so that in a way it could be preventative, giving the resources so that families do not end up in situations where they are further harmed, but given the support to be able to create pathways in their lives so that they can be the best that they potentially want to be, aspire to be, being seen, heard, and supported. That is what the FEC is about. I am complete. I just wanted to make sure that in relationship to the Mother's Day event, because space is limited, it is important that whoever decides they want to attend, that they go through the Eventbrite. It's not like you can just show up. You have to go through the Eventbrite, just, to manage the space, and so that we don't have an overflow. So I am complete. Thank you all for all the work you do. I appreciate you.
Great, thank you so much. And Louis, send the office the flyer. Like I previously stated, one thing I'm working with the chair of the board is making sure that we develop a column in our newsletter that allows for like sharing, well, at least pertinent to my to Youth and Education Committee, right? Being able to share resources available, and that's something that we'll be doing to further keep already signed up and looking forward to. Oh yeah, Tanisha already signed. Trust me, Tanisha's everywhere. So her feedback and her recommendations are taken very seriously, because Tanisha's one of the grassroots warriors that we have, so we appreciate her for that. And then Carmen, you wanted to add anything else?
No, that was it. Thank you so much for sharing about this. We look forward to partnering with you and seeing what you get to do in our community. Hopefully lots of great things.
As somebody who works in elementary school, one thing I will tell you is families are really looking for support and parental control with all these devices and technology. And I am looking for organizations to partner up with, so to develop workshops on AI, because I feel like AI could really support our families. And I saw that economic mobility was one of your pillars, being able to use AI to leverage them, to help them, support them with developing their I was going to say curriculums, but that was in Spanish, but I just blanked out right now. When you go to apply for a job, what is that you take? The paper?
Resume.
Your resume. And AI could really, our families, I really did blank out right now. Like I'm tired. The resume, AI could really support our families in skipping the line in a few things that that usually limits them from being able to engage in the economic mobility. But thank you so much, Nina. Louis, we're gonna miss you. Louis, by the way, Louis is here, but Louis didn't reapply. So we are gonna miss you. We look forward to partnering with you in this endeavor and seeing however we could support. You know, you got my number. You can call me anytime. All right.
Thank you so much, Domingo.
And for everything you did for us.
All right.
All right. Anything else?
I don't know anything else.
All right. So thank you. And thank you, Ms. Harris. We appreciate your warmth and your words. They're really appreciated.
You're worthy and you're welcome. In the FEC way, it is my intention to always create space to protect the humanity of everyone involved.
Thank you.
Every individual. You're worthy and you're welcome.
All right, so moving on next, we have committee business. Tanisha, tú trabajaste con ella in that resolution. Tanisha is bringing up a resolution around childcare. Tanisha, so the floor is yours. I don't know if you want to share your screen. You're muted.
You're muted.
Yeah, let me share my
This
screen.
case, Tanisha, we are the committee that puts out the most resolutions. Because licensing, you know, comes with like 20 resolutions per month, right? But we're getting there.
Yes, so we had AQE come talk to us about childcare and how important it is. And so we decided that we wanted to write a resolution around childcare being fully funded, universal childcare. So we have a resolution. So let me share my screen real quick. I don't know if we're gonna look at it tonight and then maybe send it to everybody, Chair.
Yeah, we have quorum, so we should be able to vote on it tonight.
Okay, so this is the resolution that we have came up with. I know Carmen was mad busy, Carmen, so you know I just got it done. I hope you don't mind.
Girl, I thought you was gonna message me, but okay.
She could provide her.
I emailed it to you.
Email
I
it to me.
emailed it to you. I did. Today I did. So this is the
All good.
resolution.
I already know it's great.
Yes. So this is the resolution. So I don't know if we want people to look at it and, you know, just read it for themselves. We made sure that we put references down in the bottom so that people could go and get the information because we know how much we like that on our rezos.
Based on previous recommendations from other committee members on there. Where we got this information from?
We got this information from our great partners at AQE. And as you see in the bottom, we have references from the New York Senate, from the Supporting Families, Employers in New York Future, things in the bottom. These are all reports, PDFs around how important universal childcare is for our students and our parents. And I'm hoping that we will pass it and then pass it at our general board meeting. And then after we pass it, our hope is to send it to all the other community boards and ask them to pass it as well.
Look forward to it. And the CEC as well, because it's this Community Educational Council will be proactive in that push and promote. So we have now, hopefully she joins our committee, Tanisha, because I forgot to say that. Oh, yes, I did say it. Noemi is officially a member of the board now. So she could join the Powerhouse Youth and Education Committee now and be that link between the CEC and the and the Youth and Educational Committee.
Yes, no.
So we got an executive from the CEC being now in the Youth and Education.
Can we, for those of us who haven't read the resolution, I just propose that we all take just a couple minutes to read it individually, unless you wanted to walk us
Who
through
doesn't have
line
the
by line.
resolution?
I mean, it's on the screen.
Noemi doesn't have it. Okay. So do you mind walking it? Okay.
You can send it to everybody, Chair. Like, share it with
No,
everybody.
but I don't have her email yet because she's a new member.
Okay, I'll send it to her. Don't worry about it.
Where is Hector, you there?
Hector sleep.
No, Hector should be
Yes,
there.
I am.
All right. Did you get it? The resolution?
Let me double check. I don't believe so.
Because I think Hector's the only one missing it right now.
Tanisha, do you want to start sharing your screen for a second? If you don't, she doesn't mind.
Oh no, she don't care. Oh yeah, she did stop sharing. So we're
Yeah,
just
no
missing
worries.
Hector. Let me see. Hector, I got your email. I'll forward it to you.
Yes. Okay, wonderful.
I just sent it to you now.
Okay.
Becomes these meetings, everyone's quitting, because why you can't sit in these few meetings and respect the stuff. The doctor is clearly not being there, Sacramento, so that's fine, we need to be honest about what it is. It's not.
I have a question. We didn't know what to put at the bottom. Do we put community board 12 or do we put the
Yes.
youth and educate? Okay.
Yeah, because once rectified, it's a community board resolution.
Did you send it, Domingo? I still haven't received it.
I think hold up, I'm sending it right now.
All right, cool.
Someone is muted.
Hold on.
3 years.
We're just reviewing the document and we're about to come back shortly, that we're about to vote on.
Right, I can't.
Are we good?
ADD, so I can't.
I'm sorry.
Did we review it already?
Yeah, I was making some edits.
So Carmen is doing some final edits,
No,
but
yeah.
overall,
Yeah.
the essence of it, does anybody oppose anything in it? Hector, did you get it?
No, I still haven't received it.
Let me send it again. What's wrong with my phone?
Very extreme. Very extreme first.
Yeah,
They tried to high school. The charters to the public schools, which pretty much is now offset by a charter school teacher to come in a real flashy and really everyone's doing this whole time. Yeah, I don't need that because that was my whole life. Of that, yeah, you know that teacher, when you're doing that teacher, the charter school being like this, real flashy, yeah, but it's not fun. It's not fun because every time a kid goes in, there's a fire hydrant.
Hector, I send it 2 times right now. Check to see if we got it.
You should.
To make sure you refresh.
Yeah.
Me?
I'm not.
No, Hector.
Tanisha, are you?
Tanisha, Carmen is saying if you're seeing her edits.
Yes, I see her edits, they're fine.
Okay,
All right, so we could vote on it on essence, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of it, I'm assuming are friendly amendments that Tanisha shouldn't have an issue with. Cause it's more like for instance, my edit was just simply changing Community Educational Council to Community Board, that's it. Community Board 12 Manhattan. All right,
And say that, and say.
can we put it to a vote? Did you get it, Hector?
No, I still didn't get it.
Are you refreshing?
Yep.
Yep, I know.
Which email did you send it to?
Hector Bonilla, CB.
Yeah, that's honest. I haven't received it.
there's two for him. One of them is a typo, I think, in one of our stuff, so you have to make.
Oh wait, I just got it right now.
I send you like 3. You should be getting like, you'll get like 3 or 4 at the same time. All right, you got it, Hector?
Yeah, I'm just reading the last 3.
All right, let me know so we could put it to a vote.
Okay, I'm ready. Sorry.
All right, cool. So we're gonna vote on a resolution asking for universal childcare. All right, so the name of the resolution is Universal Childcare Resolution. All right, and we will be sending that to the mayor and the governor, our city council, and our elected officials. Well, at the same time, I'll talk to the chair so she could also send it to other community boards to see who else would be aligned with what we're saying and who else wants to add anything to it. With that being said, any opposition? Any abstentions? Any no votes because of conflict? So we're unanimous. All right, so that's we went 4. ¿Qué fue eso? 4, no? Sí, somos 4.
Sorry, I'm still over here. I'm
no,
thinking
where's Jandiel? Jandiel, you there?
quorum is 4 members, so
Jandiel's not here anymore. Let's see.
No, he's not here, but I think we still have quorum.
uh-oh. Oh, yeah, well, 4 of us.
We still have quorum, Hector, no? Y'all in
Yeah,
there?
yeah. It's 4 of us.
What was that?
Noemi, how you voted?
As a
Yes.
general board member.
As a general board member. That's the only general board member here, right? Let me see. All right, so we should be good. All right, so let's just review the final modifications, and then I'll take it to the exec in our meeting, I believe, next week or in 2 weeks. All right, you want to present? You want to present it at exec? Well, you're gonna be.
If we already passed it here, can it just go to general?
No, so no, we just speak about it in exec.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it, I see.
Just in case they find any little, no,
Got it.
this is what we're presenting. Hopefully now we'll get a unanimous, hopefully. We've had 3 resolutions, always that one person always like, oh, I stay. All right, any announcements? New business?
We have the announcement, Chair, that the People's Assembly is going to be on
Yes,
Saturday.
yes. I look forward to everybody joining us. We have the People's Assembly Saturday from 9 to 2, is it?
Yep.
9 to 2 p.m. You will be served breakfast and you will be served lunch. So I look forward to everybody joining us. It's going to be in the Armory. And basically, the People's Assembly goal out of this assembly is learning the legislative process, how to develop legislation that, just learning the legislative process and how to create your own legislation. So like that, well, when we engage our council members or any elected official, but in this case, we're focusing solely on city council. We understand what the legislative process is, while at the same time being able to be like, hey, you know what? Lobbyists aren't the only ones that have legislative recommendations. Here's my packet. What do you think? You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool. I look forward to seeing everybody participate and everybody joining us. I believe the community board will be sending an email blast, so that everybody can get the flyer. And look forward to seeing you all there. Anything I missed?
Nope. Come fill out your survey.
And fill out the survey. The survey is just to gather like some of the issues the community's facing and being able to like quantify it to, everything is data driven now. SMART goals, right? So anything else? Yes.
The surveys, is that a survey for the public as well?
Yes, the survey, the People's Assembly is an initiative that our local city councilwoman, along with community members, put together to create a sort of participatory wing to her office where individuals could suggest legislations, but she also wanted to develop a survey to understand the needs of the community.
Because I saw the event on Saturday.
Where did you see it, if you don't mind me asking?
I saw it through the community board newsletter.
Okay, did you see the community newsletter does work?
Sorry, what's your name?
Taylor.
Hi, Taylor.
So we're here joined by
Thanks for joining
Taylor.
us.
And Taylor's just basically saying that she received it in the community board 12 newsletter. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Oh,
The
what
computer
happened?
died.
Okay.
Oh,
I guess my question was.
that's no good.
Just where do we access the survey?
Where do we access the survey? Do y'all remember? Noemi, where they could get it?
I'll drop the link in the chat.
Okay, I'll write the link down for you.
Oh,
No, it's all right, because I luckily, for some strange reason, I'm the
So it's still projected on
Yes.
YouTube? Okay.
Yes,
that's what I
yes,
just wanted to
yes.
make sure.
Because I did it on YouTube over here.
Screen. Okay, are you able to flip the thing so that Taylor and Ryan can see
Oh, no, they're,
on the
Keep
owl?
going.
No, I'm saying for them to see the screen. I just wanted them to be.
oh, no, there's nothing in the screen.
The meeting is on the screen.
Oh,
I can
so we're coming to an end.
Okay.
Taylor, what was your question? My apologies.
just where.
Oh, the link.
where we could access.
Sorry.
Okay,
That's here, if it's in the chat. Or,
hold up, let me see what the chat has. Oh, it's on Eventbrite. It's on Eventbrite. It's District 10 People's Assembly. Like, if you search up Eventbrite.
Yeah.
But if you do come to the event, they also give physical copies, so you can fill it out and just drop it off. Ah,
so that's what, I know,
Okay.
I'm bummed, I totally would. Eventbrite, certain district then. Okay.
yeah, if you go to Eventbrite, it should be there on District 10.
Thank you.
All right, could I get the motion? Anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
And Hector seconds it. Was that what it was?
Yes, I second the motion to adjourn.
Yeah, so I can,
All right,
I can email you the link.
I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for coming. Look forward to having you on next month. And we will be having new members next month. So look forward to meeting our new members as well.
Can you tell Tanisha that I was just gonna add a couple more things, but not, just more like friendly amendments?
Yeah, you heard her, Tanisha?
Mhm. I'll see it on the document. that's fine. Oh, and Chair, remember, we're gonna get an update on lower class sizes.
Yeah.
Now that the New York State budget has been decided, we're gonna have class size matter come back and tell us what that looks like for next year. And very important information.
Okay. Our chair has just entered the building. He's coming to say hi. Tanisha, a quick question. Is the city budget finalized yet? Because I seen that they're still battling it
No,
out.
city budget doesn't get finalized till July 1st. So after school is over. Yeah, I know, Chair, I know. And it'll probably be late,
It's the
like the state
mafia.
budget.
Yeah, that's the mafia right there.
But because of our advocacy around the education programs that were being cut, the mayor did put 500 million back into the education budget, Chair. So our advocacy is doing something. So thank
Okay.
you all for passing that resolution too. We still need a billion and a half, but
Yeah.
it says something that, he funded us 500 million more. Hey.
Since we in the since we still in the announcements, I don't know if John Dia is still on. I'm happy that so Dubs is going to scoop up all the.
I'm sorry, for those who
equipment.
don't know, what
Sorry,
is
George
Dubs? Thank you so
Washington High
much.
School, the educational campus at George Washington will be receiving a donation from the board of our broadcasting equipment that we can't use because we're a little bit, we need to be more on the go. So they're gonna get that. So definitely between all 4 floors, between the broadcasting, media spaces, they get some extra stuff.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I believe I was gonna talk about it in the exec, but I'll share it now. The principal of the 3rd floor is having their end of year party and they invited the whole board. So I'll get the information, but supposedly there's gonna be like 400 or 500 people there. I'm like, I look forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing though, Tanisha. I do not see parent engagement at that level in this district, though. You're talking about 150 parents in a monthly parent meeting is wild to me. I've never seen that in a high school. So I look forward to seeing what this turnout is going to look like for a party.
That's great. Let us know because, people always come out to party. But let us know, because Chair, if it's not on my schedule, it doesn't happen.
I know. Tanisha's a very requested person. We're lucky to have you. All right, cool. So thank you to Carmen. One thing I do feel that goes unmentioned, unrecognized is Carmen does bust her behind in making sure the minutes are on time every month. And yeah. She does her thing, and I think like
Count me out for that.
why?
Yeah.
Because that's it. Like somebody else has to do it in September. Like I'm just giving the fair warning right now. And now that our chair is here, we did submit a modification for the bylaws. We really do feel that it's important to have co-assistant chairs. You know what I'm saying? Because it's unfair since we can't do co-chairs, we should have at least co-assistant chairs. So like that, we're able to, like really give people the credit for what they do in maintaining a committee, because this ain't easy. You know what I'm saying? And develop a pipeline also where the people who work get titles, and I truly do believe in that. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you, Domingo. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.